of our lives have been turned upside down. Millions of people are struggling financially, emotionally, and physically. So how do we best cope at this time of uncertainty and the added stress that we have? That's exactly what we're going to discuss today. But I'm going to go ahead and take my picture out of it so that you don't have to look at my face while I'm talking. And when I need to come back on, I'll come back on. But for right now, just pay attention to the slideshow. Take notes. Think about what's going on in your life. We're going to talk about the definition of stress and resilience. We're going to learn how to effectively handle stress and make yourself a healthier person in mind, body, and soul. And it really does take less time than you think. At the end of the workshop, I'll be asking all of you to share one thing that you can change in your life. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to do that live, but you can go ahead and write it down and even send me an email and let me know what you thought. We're not going to have any chat during this because obviously it's recorded, but if you have a question, my email will be at the end, and please send it to me. And let's make this time count. This is about a 45-minute workshop, and I want you to know that you took this time for yourself to learn and tune in for a reason. For us to make a difference in our lives, we need to be focused. So I invite you, while you're watching this, to turn off all of your distractions and notifications to help us both be present and engaged. Thank you. So you just saw my real face. Now you get to see my picture face. That picture was taken on a challenge looking into my computer when I very first learned how to take pictures on the computer. So I'm Cheryl Love, and I'm a certified integrative nutrition health coach. I am the founder and the owner of Imagine Fit Intentionally Created, where I often coach individuals to reach their health goals. I do lead online group programs promoting whole foods, and I give wellness workshops just like this to other organizations and community agencies. I also facilitate quarterly online detox programs or cleanse programs, whichever you want to call them. You can do that with food, you know. A lot of people suggest that you do that with chemicals and supplements, but it can be done with food. We can't always change how things are on the outside, but when we change our inner world, we experience our outer world differently. Once we manage our inner state, then we can learn how to make good choices for ourselves and for others in our family. In times of crisis, this could be an opportunity for us to evaluate our lives. What nourishes you and what doesn't? How we live our life needs to serve us, not exhaust us. Are you noticing what nourishes you and what does not right now? Well, obviously you can't raise your hand, but we all like certainty. We're hardwired to want to know what is happening next and to notice when things feel threatening to us. When things feel uncertain or when we don't feel safe, it's normal to feel stressed. The definition of resilience. Resilience is the capacity for stress-related growth, and it's related to the way you bounce back and grow from trauma and stress. To truly thrive, we need to cultivate a body and mind that is resilient, especially right now. And the best news is that resilience can be taught. It is possible to grow our emotional intelligence. Researchers suggest resilience should be regarded as an emotional muscle, one that can be strengthened and cultivated. People can weather and recover from trauma by developing and incorporating resilient skills, including facing their fears, being optimistic, and having social support. So what's the definition of stress? We often feel anxiety when we can't control a situation, but is that stress? Well, stress is a condition or feeling experienced when a person perceives that demands exceed the personal and social resources that they have to mobilize. And that does equal a loss of feeling of control and overwhelm, which is anxiety. We may feel helpless about what may happen or what we can do to prevent more stress. And so when we feel uncertain and stressed, our mental health can suffer. Uncertainty is more constant than we may think, and how we deal with it really can define our path towards happiness and success. First of all, I want you to know it's absolutely okay to feel anxiety and to have a range of emotions. I know I have had my share of roller coaster rides. How about you? Stress is more than just an emotion. Stress is a hardwired physical response that travels through our entire body. Stress has the power to make us physically sick. In the short term, stress can be helpful, but activated too often or too long, not only does this change your brain, but it also damages many other organs and cells in your body. Stress has the power to make us physically sick. And again, you're not going to be able to post in that chat, but please feel free to respond to this and let me know what you're thinking. What are some physical symptoms caused by stress? Usually the answers you would give would be headaches, stomach aches, back pain, depression, anxiety, can't fight off a sickness. But stress can also fuel cancer and affect cancer treatment outcomes. It can shrink the brain and reduces your memory, gives tension headaches and migraines. It can cause depression. It can cause increased anxiety. It can increase our risk of chronic disease. It often raises our risk of stroke and heart attacks. It can weaken our immune systems, making it harder to fight off colds and other germs and viruses. Physically, it can cause heartburn, IBS, diarrhea, stomach cramping, and stomach aches. It can also be the reason for your back pain. Researchers have learned that for pregnant women, severe stress may affect the fetus's brain development and increase chances of premature labor. There was a Whitehall 2 research study done that tracked nearly 20,000 people in the United Kingdom in 2002 and 2006 and looked at a lot of different health metrics. Then they looked at who died, and after they died, which of these things that they were tracking best predicted what was going to happen. The study piqued my interest because they also looked at cortisol slope. They check a lot of common things such as blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, body weight, smoking status, activity levels, but also cortisol slopes. Data showed how these health metrics predicted mortality in two groups, total mortality and cardiovascular mortality. The strongest predictor of cardiovascular mortality was, of course, tobacco use. We've heard that many, many times. And the cortisol slope was just barely behind it as far as predictability. Overall total mortality, the strongest predictor of all, was the cortisol slope. You can be a healthy person, eating, exercising, and doing all the right things, but if your relationship with stress and the stress cycle is not where it should be, the other person then is doing all of the wrong things, but they're stable on their stress response, they may outlive you. This cycle also is predictive of our sleep. We need cortisol to produce melatonin at night. Who knows someone that maybe drinks, smokes, eats less healthy, doesn't exercise, but they live a long and happy life? Truly, they probably have a healthy reaction to stress. Dr. Daniel Amen said, "Stress is one of the greatest killers of society today." And he's the author of Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. If you haven't read it, get the book. It's pretty interesting. Stress does not only affect us mentally and emotionally, it also has the power to make us physically ill. It is one of the greatest killers of our society, is this full quote. 70% of all healthcare visits are reported to be related to conditions caused by stress. They're stress triggered. There are other reports that state stress is related to 99% of all diseases. And just a cute fact, if you've ever bought Lululemon clothes, that statistic is even on their bags. So again, we're not going to be able to chat in the chat room, but write it down for yourself so that you know. What are your top 2 or 3 stressors? And they can be inside or outside of work. Many different things right now are potentially causing us stress. Kids at home while you're trying to work, or you've become the teacher. Your spouse isn't working, or maybe you aren't. If you're a partner in the healthcare industry, or you're considered an essential worker, you can have mental and emotional stress. Are you waking up at an unusual time? Are you being exposed to more chemicals lately, bleach and antibacterials? Are you making poor food choices more often? How do you feel and react when you're stressed? Do you feel overwhelmed, crabby? Do you get headaches? How much stress is caused by your own thoughts or your own reactions? We can choose our response to any situation. That's the good news. It means that you're not powerless to manage your workplace stress if you focus on what is in your control. Anything that asks us to handle more energy than we can handle can cause us stress. The difference between someone who is not stressed and someone who is stressed is not the level of the stress in their lives. It's their response to stress. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to review my top 15 tips to manage stress in the face of uncertainty. Some of these tips will be very familiar to you, and I'll spend more time on some than others. As you take notes, put a star beside the things that speak loudest to you as an action step to put more into your life right now. So number 1, focus on what you control. There are going to be events that you cannot control or change. Let it go. Worrying can lead to feelings of high anxiety and can cause physical illness. Feel it. Don't avoid or deny what's going on either. Go deep within and listen to what your feelings are telling you. And I'm sure you've heard this before. What we resist persists. Don't try to control the uncontrollable. Learn to forgive it and let it go. Worrying will not change the outcome. There are 2 primary choices in life: to accept conditions as they exist or accept the responsibility for changing them. Tony Gaskins, who is an inspirational speaker, has said, if you can't do anything about it, then let it go. Don't be a prisoner to things that you cannot change. So what are some things that are in your control? Limiting the news, washing your hands, staying safe at home and being comfortable with that, wearing a mask while shopping. Now, some people say in some states you have to wear the mask when you're outside. I don't agree with that theory because the air is the air. But if that's something that you've been told you have to do and you want to do it, then by all means, just please don't drive in your car with your mask on alone. Please, you're by yourself. Nothing can happen to you. And make sure that you're connecting with others. All of those things are in your control. So let's look at a mindset shift. Our mindset always matters, but especially right now. Health is not just about what we're eating and about how we're exercising. It's also about what we're thinking and what we're saying. Are your thoughts negative and beat you up? Or are they positive thoughts and will help you move forward with confidence? Write down which statement here feels best to you. We're going to look at the same slide at the end, and you can add your action statement to the second. You can say, there's too much uncertainty right now. I can't stop worrying about my future. Or, well, I can't control the situation around me. I can control my actions. Adding blank will help my mental health during an uncertain time. Number 2, be kind to yourself and practice self-compassion. We don't have to be super productive right now. We can be loving without judgment. Give positive messages to yourself instead of defaulting to negative ones by reframing your perspective. Instead of thinking or saying negative statements like nothing goes right for me, bad things always happen to me, or I can't do it. Give yourself some positive messages like, I'm doing my best. I will ask for help. Or I can do whatever I put my mind to. Thoughts and worries are fueled by our own perception of events. I used to focus more on what was wrong. Now I consciously decide to focus on what's right. Focus on the good, and more good will come your way. However stressful the situation has been, finding at least one positive, no matter how small, helps to wire the brain to refocus your attention and reframe our skewed perspective. Health is not just about what you're eating, it's also about what you're thinking and saying. Henry Ford once very famously said, and it's repeated all the time, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. A positive mind finds opportunity in everything, while the negative mind finds faults in everything. Bryant McGill states, quit the endless worrying about the future. The way you get through life is one day at a time. even 1 hour at a time or 1 moment at a time. Start by finding, creating, or noticing one good moment. Being more positive takes practice. You can retrain your mind to see the best possibilities in everything. A good moment on a bad day counts because your mind is a very powerful thing. Fill it with positive thoughts and your life will start to change. Your mind will always believe everything that you tell it. Feed it hope and trust and love. Write these affirmations down, post them where you can see them, and repeat them every day. I have chosen to be happy because it is good for my health. Or by choosing loving, joyous thoughts, I create a loving, joyous world around me. And the truth is, problems are gifts. Our biggest problem is we think we shouldn't have problems. Albert Einstein put it this way: crisis is the biggest blessing for people and nations because crisis brings on progress. He who blames his own failures and difficulties to crisis gives more importance to the problems than the solutions. Find a way to use stress and pain to serve you. Work on finding meaning in all of your problems. How do you take care of yourself? And obviously you can't tell me right now, but please send me an email. Tell me what you're doing right now to take care of yourself. Remember, we need to put our oxygen mask on first so we are more able to help others. You hear that every time you get on an airplane. It is essential to take care of ourselves and our mental health. Number 3, be grateful. One trick that I use with my clients all the time is to keep a gratitude journal to help you remember all the things that are good in your life and aim for writing down at least 3 things a day. More can be better, but at least 3. Put it beside your bedstand and make it the last thing you do after you go to bed. Being grateful for your blessing cancels out negative thoughts and worries. When you feel stressed, spend a few minutes going back and looking over your gratitude journal and remind yourself what really matters in your life. An attitude of gratitude can reduce the stress hormone by 23%. That's quite a bit. Science shows us that when a person is focused on gratitude, the brain looks completely different versus focusing on anger and hate. Dr. Daniel Amen, again, who wrote that book, Your Brain, Your Life, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life, did that study, and he was looking at MRIs. Keep remembering, it's not happy people who are thankful. It's thankful people who are happy. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Here's another mindset shift. We are the only ones who can create our own experiences, and they all start with our thoughts. When we change our thoughts, we can change the direction of our life. How are you feeling about our current situation? Which of these 2 feels better to you? I am stuck at home versus I'm so thankful to be safe in my home. You need to stop the recorder of negative thoughts. That's just limiting you from moving forward with your life. Number 5. Excuse me a minute, I had to take a drink there. Work through your emotions. Feeling uncomfortable does not mean something is wrong with you. Going outside of your comfort zone is what makes you feel uncomfortable. Stay with the uncomfortable feelings, though, and accept them for what they are. Ask what the feelings are about. Be curious. Most of us want to ignore them, but then the emotions get buried and it becomes a bigger problem. Accept what is. Be present to what is. Let the uncomfortable be instead of ignoring your emotions. Right now, a lot of us are stuffing those emotions of uncomfortableness with food, binge watching Netflix, and for some, drinking. Let's not do that. Everyone is experiencing this time of uncertainty differently. So give compassion and empathy to yourself and to others. Number 6, know that your setbacks are temporary. You can navigate through this turbulent and emotionally trying time by realizing that this is temporary and things will get better with your active involvement in your own healing process. Nothing lasts forever, not even life-altering events, trauma, adversity, or pain. Remember, every experience is perfect for us. We are all teachers and students learning and growing. This is not going to be a permanent situation, and it may actually get better. One thing my mother and my grandmother used to say all the time, I thought they made it up, but it looks like it was by a Greek philosopher. Change is the only constant in life. Enjoy life when things are good, and when they're bad, know that the bad can't last forever. Number 7, be mindful. Evidence suggests that mindfulness reduces stress and allows us to approach challenging situations differently without adding to the difficulty. Mindfulness is about becoming deeply aware of the present moment. The experience of your senses, your thoughts, your feelings, and the physical sensations. Mindfulness can be a meditation. It can be a yoga class. It can be turning on some music and just dancing away. It can be your golden hour or your time in the prayer closet. Whatever helps you relax, including reading, any kind of music, puzzles, painting, writing, and so much more. Have you ever noticed a downward spiral of thoughts when you're worried, stressed, or anxious? It's like going down the rabbit hole. You have one, and then another, and then another, and then another. It's common to worry about the unknown future and play out the worst case scenarios. Again, though, I ask you to bring awareness to your thoughts and emotions and return to the present moment. Being mindful helps us to center and stabilize in times of uncertainty. When we drift into fear, we drift into the future. Notice that you lost the present moment and come back to it. Find peace in that present moment. That's what makes being mindful so good. You aren't a passive observer to your life as it's unfolding. Instead, you're in the driver's seat. You get the choice to choose how present you want to be in your life. You have that control, and that can be very empowering to you once you know that. Now, I know that right now there's a lot of things going on that we can't control, but there's people out there that can help you. So stay in the present and go for it. Here's deep breathing. Now, when we do this live, we actually do this breath together. But remember that breathing is something that we're hardwired to do also. It's a part of living. We all breathe. And we almost all breathe very shallowly. We don't fill our lungs. We don't give our diaphragm the chance to drop and to massage our other organs. So I want you to take a 2 to 5 minute break and focus just on your breathing. Just note how it feels to breathe in and out. Again, we do it routinely, but be aware of it. Deep breathing counters the effects of stress by slowing the heart rate and lowering blood pressure. This 4-7-8 breath is one I learned in school, and I tried to do it at least twice a day and 3 times through. So inhale through your nose for a count of 4, then you hold your breath for a count of 7, and then you exhale deeply through your mouth for a count of 8. I tell people in my classes to put their hands on their belly just below their rib cage when they do this. And when they inhale, expand that part of your belly. When you're expanding that part of your belly, you know that you're filling all of your lungs. We actually almost always breathe the opposite way. When we inhale, we suck it in, and we exhale, we blow it out. Concentrate on doing it the opposite. Anxiety happens when we think we have to figure out everything all at once. Take a breath and breathe. Know you're strong and you've got this. Take it day by day. After all, we have all survived everything so far, and we all woke up today just fine. So there's that breath again that you can practice. Number 9, trust your path. 90 to 95% of all people believe in a higher power. Religion and spirituality have been shown as predictors of resilience. Prayer, self-reflection, communicating with your higher power serves as a healing balm to many who may otherwise resort to negative coping behaviors. We are unique and special with humility. What really matters is to pursue what really matters. I believe we're all here to help each other and to help others. My purpose is to help others to heal, to get out of their own way, and to live the life that they've always imagined. We tend to have growth from insight or from pain. Think about how fast people grow interpersonally after a tragedy. We hear about post-traumatic stress, but there's also something called post-traumatic growth. Tremendous personal growth can come from a traumatic event. Whatever you love, Whatever sets your soul on fire, do it full on. Go through whatever the life needs you to go through. You have lessons to learn and twists and turns that are unexpected to you, but it's a better plan than you ever imagined. The crisis looks bad on the surface, but there may be a bigger purpose at play. Something that looks like an obstacle may be an opportunity for all of us to dig in a little deeper. And if you've ever worked anywhere or had a grandma that repeated things to you, you've probably heard this before too. Great things never came from your comfort zone. Number 10, exercise daily. Now, you know I'm going to say that because I teach exercise and I believe in exercise. Exercise is the most potent, underutilized antidepressant, and it's free. If it's a nice day out, just go outside for an easy way to lift your spirits. Do any type of physical activity every day. Dancing, bicycling, walking, hiking, jogging, Pilates, bar. Until we can get back to our gyms, there's a lot of free workouts on YouTube too. Your body can fight stress better when it's fit. Fear, anger, numbness, sadness, these are all emotional states that affect one's physical well-being, and you need to be ready to cope with and overcome these emotions. Tony Robbins has been known to say, science has shown us that when you participate in physical activities, you activate your body chemistry and unite your mind and body so they can work together effectively. Think about how to add movement through your day, like taking a walk around the block, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or parking at the farthest spot from a store entrance. When I used to work full-time, I would take my 10-minute breaks and just go walk around the building 3 or 4 times. Usually by the end of the day, I'd walked anywhere from 1.5 to 2 miles. And I used an app on my phone called Map Your Walk because I don't have that Fitbit thing, but it actually just showed you how far you were walking. And don't tell me you don't have any time. To me, that's just an excuse. We all have the same amount of time in a day. Everybody gets the same 24 hours. So break your workout up. Do 10-minute bursts 3 times a day if you really don't want to spend a whole half an hour on yourself. Or involve your kids if you have them. Take them with you for a walk. Go out in the backyard and do some jumping jacks. Do some sprints and chase each other around. But please don't tell me you don't have any time. And tip number 11, talking about going outside, spend some time outside. Spending time in nature can help relieve stress, improve your mood, and boost feelings of happiness and well-being. We have a deep connection to nature, and research shows that if we don't nourish that bond, despite our technological advances, we may continue to suffer in many ways. A stroll in the woods has been shown to combat depression, and even just the view of an outside from a hospital room helps patients who are feeling down. Think about the times taking a walk in nature. How did you feel? It's pretty hard to be sad, mad, and stressed when you're out in the woods. Instead, nature tends to calm our nerves. For me, it's the ocean. I can be in the worst position mentally and go stand by the ocean and just listen to the waves, and it totally calms me down. Bright light can also be very effective treatment for people who suffer from depression and can even cheer up otherwise healthy folks. Number 12, stay on a routine. Give yourself plenty of time to get things done. Set your watch or your phone calendar so you have more time to prepare for an event or adding commute time for possible traffic. If you happen to arrive somewhere early, take that time to do some deep breathing, and you'll feel the best you can as you arrive to your meeting or your event. Stop rushing. Breathe. Be where you are. You're where you're supposed to be at this very moment. Every experience and step is necessary. Low chronic levels of stress reduce our energy levels. So over time, you find yourself doing less, but feeling it more. Stop glorifying being busy and begin moving forward to what is important to you. Be proactive, not reactive. Identify the factors in a stressful situation that are under your control. Let go of those that aren't and excel at what is. Give yourself a time cushion. Even 15 minutes extra in the morning can help you so you don't start the day feeling behind and rushed. Breaks interspersed throughout the day can amp up your focus and clear your mind. Be proactive, not reactive. As our lives are flipped upside down and the world evolves in unimaginable ways because of the coronavirus outbreak, daily routines have been uprooted or disregarded altogether. Daily commutes have been replaced with the walk from the bathroom to the kitchen, to the living room, to the bedroom, down the hall. Schools and daycares are closed, forcing parents to morph into professional educators and day-long entertainers, especially those that aren't used to that. Work meetings have been moved from conference rooms to laptops, and small businesses have been temporarily shuttered or worse, battering the service industry and its workforce while eliminating coffee breaks, happy hours, and visits to local restaurants and coffee shops with our friends. I don't know about you, but I'm making a list of all those people I want to go have a coffee with at the gathering when this is all over. The temptation, of course, is to lounge around all day long in your pajamas as a way to adjust to the new life or self-isolation and social distancing. But you'll feel much better if you just get up and get a routine going. But even through all the turbulence, mental health professionals and educators who specialize in psychology insist that following a routine is imperative as we work to keep a positive frame of mind and maintain a semblance of normalcy. Experiencing some level of routine adds structure and discipline to our lives. This is a quote from a Portland area clinical psychologist. As things change around us, it's important to create or keep a sense of normalcy and find ways to increase a sense of being in control. And then 13, schedule some fun time. We can reduce stress by programming more relaxation activities into our day. I mean, let's face it, most of us have the time right now. While for many folks, increasing exercise burns off the chemical effects of stress and anger, others find relief in quiet pursuits, listening to music, reading a good book, or even just talking on the phone. Whatever is relaxing for you will reduce tension, and that will help increase energy. Do things that you find pleasurable. Once this is all over, make a list of all those things you wish you could have done while it was going on and start planning to go do them. Make it a weekly date with someone or yourself just to do these things. Make sure to take time to laugh, play, participate in activities that bring you joy. A good belly laugh doesn't just lighten the load mentally. It's actually very good for you physically. So schedule time to laugh and play and participate in those activities that bring you joy. Connect with friends and family and schedule some fun. So right now we can't do that very well, but we can reduce stress by programming that relaxation into our day. Make sure you take that time. And right now there are some ways that we can seek support from our friends and family. You can talk to others virtually or face-to-face and on the phone. You can share what's going on with them, and the problem shared is a problem halved. You can get a fresh perspective while keeping your connection active and secure. Number 14, sleep. Lack of sleep can affect your immune system and stress levels. People who don't get enough sleep are more likely to get sick after being exposed to any virus. On top of that, the more exhausted you feel, the less you're able to focus on work and at home, and leading to even more stress. You're also more likely to snap at your friends and family, causing stress over relationships. Eat real food. Who would have thought I would say that as a health coach? But it is. Stress can cause emotional eating and make it harder to resist cravings for unhealthy foods. Stress is connected to weight gain, and high cortisol levels are linked to stress, which encourages fat storage, particularly in the lower abdomen. Avoid or limit processed foods, or fake foods I call them, especially any foods with a long list of unpronounceable ingredients. They tend to lack the nutrients your body needs, especially minerals that assist the nerves like magnesium and potassium, which are found in vegetables, fruit, and whole grains. You can also add in some adaptogens. Adaptogens are a select group of herbs and some mushrooms that help the body naturally adapt to stress. Some examples are Asian ginseng, ashwagandha, rhodiola, maca, and shilajit. Now that last one you probably never heard of before unless you've been in the health world for a while. If you need some help finding some adaptogens, I've got the perfect tea for you to drink. Also, increase your healthy fats. They're called essential fatty acids because the body isn't capable of producing them on its own. We need to rely on foods high in omega-3s like avocados, nuts, fish, olive oil, and coconut oil. Throw in some extra vegetables. Plant foods tend to be loaded with more filling fiber than meat, dairy, and processed foods, while providing loads of essential nutrients. And please sneak protein into every meal. We need protein to renew and replenish our cells, stabilize our blood sugar, and give us energy. And lastly, the thing I tell everybody, drink more water. Enough said, right? 50% of your body weight, preferably 50% of your body weight, and preferably water over coffee, tea, or any other liquid. Now, it is true that all liquids count to your fluid intake. Water just happens to be the best one. Bonus tip, ask for support. Stop trying to do this all by yourself. Ask for help. If you want a different result in your life, then you need to take a different type of action. As a health coach, my goal is to help you live the life you have always imagined with small, achievable goals and steps with support along the way. If you're listening to this today, I'm happy to offer all of you to a complimentary discovery session. We would meet for around 30 minutes to discuss your health and goals. We will meet by Zoom or in phone. And how does that help you? It provides you with accountability. We are more accountable when we share our plans and goals with another person and when we write it down. We add more accountability the more people we tell and ask for their support on achieving this goal. I suggest putting your action plan in your phone with a reminder set for 7 days, 14, 21, 28 days, and maybe even 45 days to keep you going. If you feel yourself slipping, that's okay. Just keep going. Don't beat yourself up. Just get up and move again. And what's your action plan? What's the one thing that you will do and will commit to doing differently to manage your stress during this time? Taking charge of yourself changes your life and your story into a real positive and fun adventure. You'll develop a healthy behavior and reduce stress as you boost your level of achievement in getting these goals and these changes done. What are some possible action plans to manage these stressors? Or what is one thing that you will commit to doing differently or eating differently from the 15 tips we had to manage your stress? So remember I said we'd look at this slide again later, the mindset shift. There is too much uncertainty right now. I can't stop worrying about my future. Or, while I can't control the situation around me, I can control my action. Adding blank will help my mental health during this time. What are you going to fill the blank in with? If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to respond to this email and ask me those questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you. And thank you. You can be proud that you took this simple step by attending today's class. If you would like me to present at your workplace, please let me know who to talk to at your place of business or for your community group, and I'll contact them. I have different workshops ranging from eating for energy, healthy eating on a budget, detox secrets, supercharge your brain, how to be healthier at work, meal planning, and how to slay the sugar monster, and more. Don't forget, you're all invited to schedule your 30-minute discovery call today. Just go to that link, www.bit.ly/CherylLove. Thank you very much for listening. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to respond to this email.